Good evening. Welcome to the Wild Wild West, and most importantly, welcome to my town of Silver Reef, right here in the Utah Territory. So I've been wandering these streets for a long time, and I've been waiting for somebody to come along where I could tell my story. I am United States Deputy Marshal John Diamond. Now I was born sometime in 1853, not quite sure when, but I was born to my parents, Mr. and Mrs. Diamond. I came up through humble upbringings. They taught me very well during my early years, and they always taught me right from wrong. So I knew at a young age that someday when I became of age, I would want to do something where I could help people and just do the right thing. So with that in mind, we'll stop right there, and then we're going to go forward to the year of 1875. I was growing up, but then 1875, Silver Reef was born, and after the discovery of silver, it took them a long time to realize that there was silver and white sandstone here. So finally, after about 9 years of studying this stuff, 1875, they realized that silver was a big deal here in Silver Reef. And the word got out to people around the region at that time, and one of the closest towns to us at that time was the town of Pioche, Nevada. Pioche was also a silver mining town back in the day, but it was a different type of mining up there compared to here. Up there was hard rock mining. They had to go deep into the earth. Here, the European miners were already getting established here. They loved working in Silver Reef because the sandstone was so easy to work in, and they didn't have to go deep into the earth to get that silver out. So, 1875, we're rolling, the word is out, and the Pioche Stampede started. At that time, our population here blossomed from around 40 people, give or take a few. In a 2-month period, the Pioche Stampede started, and our population blew up to almost 2,000 people right here in town. So the town was growing rapidly. The main street was bustling. People were doing their jobs, and life was good here in Silver Reef. They were working hard. The mines out in the area along the White Sandstone Reef and down on the Buckeye Reef down the hill, they were producing silver like there was no tomorrow. Silver was a big deal. So they're working hard, and these European miners, they were making a total of $4 a day, which was really good money back in those days. And they were making, the thing to remember, they were making more money than the United States cavalry soldier on horseback, riding horses and fighting Indians during the Indian Wars that was going on at that time also. So they're rolling. 13 years of operation here in Silver Reef. They took out and they mined over 7.5 million troy ounces of silver right here in Silver Reef. And a troy ounce is an ounce and a tenth. So with that in mind, that was a whole lot of money that was taking place, and they were mining, they were doing really good. So people are happy. The Chinese immigrants, once they built the Intercontinental Railroad up north, when that railroad was done, all these Chinese immigrants went to all these Wild West towns, including Silver Reef right here. And they set up their township just down the hill below us. They had a big population down there. They had their own businesses. They provided support services for the town folks here in Silver Reef. They had their own cemetery down there. So they were a functioning unit that provided a lot of very important assets for the town folks here in Silver Reef. So life was good. This town was functioning, had a little bit of crime, nothing major. We'll go back now to, I was growing up during this time. Now I'm of age, and I knew that I wanted to serve and help people. So finally, Silver Reef was functioning, and I decided to sign up with the United States Marshal Service. And I became a Deputy U.S. Marshal. Of course, my first assignment, guess where it was at? It was right here in Silver Reef. And so I rode into town and went to work and got to know a lot of the town folks here, and it was a nice place to be. People were nice around here. Had a few little crime problems, but nothing too serious. Eventually, once I got established here, started working, getting to know these people, and I got to know who the mine owners were. We had the Barbie Walker mine that was out here along the White Reef. We had the Christie mine out here, and both of those mines and all the mine operations out there were under the control of San Francisco and New York conglomerates. Some of the mines were independently owned. One in particular was the Kinner mine, which is down on the Buckeye Reef down the hill from us. Now, the Kinner mine was owned by a guy named Andrew Wall. He was a pretty well-respected guy, I suppose, around the area, but the Kinner mine was not producing like these other big conglomerate mines. And as a result of it not producing the silver, the Kinner mine was also becoming negligent in their financial obligations to their workers and other folks in town. So a few folks got angry about that, and there was a man named Captain Henry Lubbock, very well-known miner and very well respected around the area. He decided to bring suit against Mr. Wall in the Kinner mine. So what he did was he filed suit to the U.S. District Court up in Milford and Beaver, Utah. And that suit was filed, and of course the judge heard the complaints and listened to all the evidence on the suit. And it didn't take long for that judge to decide that he needed to issue paperwork to dissolve Mr. Wall of his responsibilities and his ownership of the Kinner mine. So naturally, me being down here as a U.S. Marshal here in Silver Reef, they sent a telegram message down to me in my office, and that message was to inform Mr. Wall that his responsibilities at the Kinner mine would be terminated, and they issued a cease and desist order. With that in mind, it was my job to now ride down on my horse and deliver that paperwork to the owner or people responsible at the Kinner mine. So with that in mind, I rode down there, and this was in, beginning of March of 1879, and went to issue that paperwork. Well, a man came out of the mine. His name was Jack Truby. Now, Mr. Truby was a miner. He was a security guard at the Kinner mine, and he saw me. He knew who I was, and he wasn't too happy anyway. So he knew why I was there, and I informed him why I was there to issue the paperwork. And in a matter of words, Mr. Truby informed me that I was to never set foot at the Kinner mine. He also told me that they would abide by the court orders, but he demanded that I leave and never come back. He was mad. So I thought about that, and I thought it would probably be best that I left at that time and let things cool down, and Mr. Truby hopefully would come to his realization that things were not going well at the Kinner mine. So finally, March 27th of 1879, Mr. Truby was getting angry. March 27th, 1879, that was a Thursday, if I recall. And he was angry. He wasn't letting this stuff go. But regardless, we had the Elkhorn Saloon that was right across the street from the old Wells Fargo building. And the Elkhorn Saloon was not just a saloon in town here, but it was used as a town gathering place. And it was also used as the town courthouse. It was a multi-purpose building. And on that evening of March 27th, 1879, they were holding what I call night court there. And I was in there doing my duties as the bailiff, which is part of my responsibilities, and make sure everybody was abiding by the rules and behaving themselves in the courtroom. So I'm in there keeping an eye on things, and Mr. Truby, he's been stewing for a long time. We'd had several encounters, and it could have led to some serious situations, but fortunately some people in town decided to keep us in our separate spaces, so to speak. So I'm sitting in the courtroom. Mr. Truby decided to come into the courthouse, but he came in through the back door. And I thought, well, this is kind of unusual, but that's okay. But when he came in, he sat down in the courtroom, and Mr. Truby failed to take his hat off in the courtroom, remove his hat in the courtroom, which was a sign of disrespect. So it was my job to inform him that he needed to take his hat off. And I did just that. I told him, Mr. Truby, you need to take your hat off, show a little respect for the court and his honor, the judge. And he took that advisory that I gave him as a declaration of war. He became very insulted. He became very angry. And he informed me that he says, although I might be able to tell him what to do in that courtroom, he told me if I step outside, I will never tell him what to do outside that courthouse. So I said, okay, and he invited me to come out and talk to him. I said, okay, I'll be out there shortly in a few minutes after the court hearings are over. So about 9 o'clock in the evening, I was in the courtroom, things were wrapping up, and I heard a gunshot outside. I thought, well, I went outside, because that's my job, checked on things, nobody was around. So I came back in, things were wrapping up, and everything was just fine. The court sessions ended. I went outside, and Mr. Truby standing on the walkway outside the courthouse. And I looked at Mr. Truby, and he was a little uneasy. And he was probably about 4 feet, 5 feet away from me. And he was staring at me, and I looked at him. I says, Jack, are you carrying a gun? And it just so happened that both of us were carrying 41 caliber Colt Lightning revolvers at that time, which was a mighty fine weapon, believe me. And he looked at me and he says, you know damn well I'm carrying a gun. And he squared off on me and he immediately drew on me. Of course, I had to draw back, and we both pulled our pistols out within close distance of each other, and we opened fire on each other. And we both shot each other with those 41 caliber revolvers. I was struck several times, and I unfortunately expired on the front porch of that Elkhorn Saloon in the courthouse right there within 5 minutes. Mr. Truby, I shot him several times, and he went down, and it wasn't until about 5 hours later that he finally expired from his wounds also. So an inquest was launched into the shooting, and there's a lot of people curious about what had happened in the streets, and there's a lot of broken hearts in town because Mr. Truby was also a respected man, and people seemed to like me pretty well in town also. But during the inquest, they looked at the bullet wounds on both of us, and they saw that I was shot in the chest several times and through the heart. Mr. Truby, they found that he was shot several times through the upper torso, but then when they rolled his body over looking at him, they also found two 45 caliber long Colt slugs in his back. So ultimately, during our shootout, somebody behind him shot him in the back 2 times with a 45, and we shot each other several times with 41 caliber revolvers. We don't know who that person was. It's still under investigation to this day. And if I get some information on it, I'll deal with it at the time. But that's the story of what happened to us. It was a sad story. It was a tragic ending. But Silver Reef went on after that, and it lasted up until about 1888, producing silver. And that's when the U.S. government transitioned from the silver standard of currency throughout the country to the gold standard of currency. When that happened, the market for silver bottomed out, lost its value by 3/4. The people in Silver Reef, the mine owners, were losing money. They were going to cut the wages of the miners from $4 a day to $2 a day. And that didn't settle too well with the miners. They told the mine owners basically to kick rocks. And when that happened, everybody started packing up and leaving Silver Reef, and that was the demise of Silver Reef right there. Well, it was weird. When they left, a lot of the people took their lumber with them from their buildings. So all that's left standing here now is the stone walls and foundations, with the exception of the Wells Fargo building right here, and that's the only original building left standing here in Silver Reef. So everybody packed up and left. The Chinese folks that were down the hill, some of them people were very wealthy people, and they didn't like the fact that everybody was leaving town. So the ones that could afford it hired their own delegation to come back here from China. They went down to their cemetery, dug up the remains of their dead, and packaged their dead up with Asian Chinese culture, with love and respect. They placed their dead on wagons. From here, this is the ones that could afford it. From here, they sent their dead back to San Francisco, California, and from there on a boat back to China, where their dead could be properly attended to. So that's the story of what happened in Silver Reef and how it happened and who it happened to. And that's the end of my story.